So I got Michael here, who's a client that we started working together back at the beginning of August. Is that right?
Yep.
Nice, right on, man. Well, when you started with me, you were kind of in the you already got some pretty good background knowledge in fitness, training, nutrition, before you even started with me, right? Like you were already kind of in that space, um, following other content creators in the space. So you already, just from talking to you, I already knew you had some pretty good background knowledge to begin with, and kind of already doing things for yourself. But uh, maybe give us some insight. Well, what was going on with your training, nutrition, all that stuff before we started working together?
So I had a good foundation. I knew a good amount of stuff just from doing my own research and whatnot. But when it came to programming my own workouts, getting over injuries, trying to find a good nutrition plan that would fit me, nothing ever seemed to stick or work right.
Right.
So needed needed some help with that.
Right. Yeah, the injury thing is like I think a big thing with a lot of guys starting out because they're just like, okay, like what do I do now, right? Like
Yeah,
it's almost like essentially you're not sure if you should push through or if it's a technique thing. Um, Oftentimes it's kind of like it's essentially everything, right?
for sure.
How to modulate your training, how to, deal with your recovery, your nutrition. Um, but what were you, I guess, like, what were you going through mentally before we started working together? Is that kind of your thought process that you just had to like, you felt like you just had to push through injuries and they'd eventually just kind of go away? Hello? Think I lost you there, bud. Oh, there you are. I just can't hear you. Can you hear me? There we go. I can hear you.
You can?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that.
Oh no.
I don't, I don't know what just happened.
Computer glitches. All good. All good. But let's jump back into it.
Yeah.
So before we started reading that, what were you actually thinking? What was going through your head before you approached me, as far as like that stuff's concerned?
Um, Needed help just in general with, getting over stuff, finding a program that would fit me right. Um, Knowing how to do exercises properly without getting injured.
Yeah.
I needed just guidance in general,
Right.
someone that could program stuff for me and, tailor it to my needs.
Right. And before you came to me, I think, what did that actually look like? Because body weight wise, I know you're only 16, but body weight wise, where were you at?
I think I was about 140, 130, yeah, 140. I
Okay.
wanted to put on some more mass and just size without putting on a crazy amount of body fat and
Yeah.
just in general, just put on muscle.
Right. Yeah. As most relative beginners do, right?
Yeah.
Um, how about like your overall strength and energy? Like how long had you actually been training? Have you been training since before
I
that?
have been training now for probably about 2 years, very consistently, 3 years, 3.5, and on and off.
Yeah.
Before I think started probably about 120 pounds and then got up to
Yeah.
the 140, kind of
Nice.
stuck there, and then yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember even when you sent me your first check-in picture, like that initial picture, I was like, oh, he actually knows what he's doing. He looks pretty good, right? Like, and I think like you're pretty lean already. You had abs and everything. But I think that's often the missing piece is like at least. a lot of guys think that they have to dirty bulk in order to gain weight. They think that, they just have to keep eating a ton, right?
Yep.
Which in the long term actually sets you backwards. I know, like when I was younger, that's essentially what I did, it's dirty bulk, right?
Yep.
Um, but uh, what made you reach out to me specifically over any other coach? Like, how'd you find me, and what was the impetus there?
So I followed this guy. He does YouTube and stuff. His name is Dylan Shannon.
Yeah,
I saw that he was struggling with his own nutrition. He's jacked. I mean, crazy strong. And even he was going to you. So I knew something was up there. This guy probably knows his stuff. And then I saw right then you were pretty bulked up and you were doing an aggressive cut. And I like that you were still experimenting, even though I could tell you'd been training for a while. And I also really like that, you knew different aspects of being an athlete. Like you did rugby, you did bodybuilding, powerlifting, you knew the nutrition side, the science side. I found that kind of to be just perfect for me because I wanted to learn more about the science behind it so I could have that going forward in my life
yeah,
and just to know in general. And I really like that you knew what seemed like literally everything and you would tailor it to well, and
yeah,
it seemed like that at that point from your previous clients, you tailor it to them, and I really like that
yeah. I think that's uh, people, especially. I know we both probably follow a lot of the science-based lifting community. People
Yep,
get so caught up in that community as far as what is science-based, what research is there around a certain approach and all that stuff, but it almost prevents you from experimenting with yourself a little bit because you're always wondering, oh, is this the right approach for me, right? But I think that's why it's important, when you come to a coach, that they do a lot of data intake, right? They establish a bit of a baseline. Okay, where's this person at? Because that kind of, once you establish a baseline, then we can be like, okay, here's the game plan. Because not to throw that generalized statement that everybody's different, but everyone's circumstances are different, right? So, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I have definitely done a ton of self-experimentation on different diets and training styles, and yeah, it's I always view it as kind of fun, right? Because it's cool to see how your body reacts and
for
whatnot.
sure.
But a lot of those approaches, don't always manifest in good progress. So having at least that experiment on my side of things, it helps me kind of give a give kind of that empathy for my clients, when we're, tailoring an approach. It's like, okay, you might feel this way if we try this, right? So,
For sure.
um, did you, I guess, like before you even reached out, did you have any fears or hesitations before signing up with me?
Yeah, I mean, totally. With the money part, you don't want to jump into a coach and then have them throw you some pre-made program that you're not gonna get any more value from than looking it up on YouTube. Um, I didn't want, someone who, again, I'd spend the money on, and then when I'd ask them a question, they take a week to respond. Someone who I felt like, I could actually learn from, and they'd done it themselves.
Yeah, 100%, man. So I guess like that brings me to this next question. We worked together for what was it, 12, yeah, 12 weeks. What would you say the top three results you got from us working together? Because I know the stats off the top of my head, but I want to hear from your side of things.
Um, Obviously, strength went through the roof. I think I went from something take like RDLs for example. I'm pretty sure I went from like 225 at the start of August, and then at the end of our program, that was probably for like 6 reps, I'm pretty sure, somewhere around
Yeah,
there. And then I know I did RDLs on I think one of the very last leg days of the 12 weeks. I did 315, and I got that. So I mean, a whole 90-pound, whole plate difference. Felt
Yeah.
amazing. Um, I know the growth in the legs, one of my main priorities that I kind of came to you and wanted. That went through the roof. I think I saw barely any body fat percentage go up, and my legs exploded, which was amazing to see that you knew how to program it. And I mean, my everything obviously grew, but especially my legs, and I love that you knew how to program that. Um, one another probably one of, if not the biggest thing, my energy levels and focus throughout the day. My
Yeah.
grades, which is actually really cool, my grades in school have actually gone up just as a side factor of eating better, eating all my micronutrients, having more focus, energy. My sleep's been a million times better. Like, not even, yeah, it's so much better.
Dude, the
And
grades thing and
everything,
sleep thing is such a like it's such a legit win because you know so many guys in fitness that they're like, yeah, I'm building my body. I spend hours in the gym and then the rest of their life like isn't great, right? Like they're
yep,
fried, they're all their brain's always fried and you know their cognitive function is like non-existent. So no,
for
I
sure.
I appreciate that. As someone who was also a student athlete, it's you know not having my training interfere with, you know, school is a big win.
For sure. Yeah,
But
my parents definitely appreciated that as well.
sick, dude. Sick. Um, but yeah, and you obviously like having your strength go up, like you're tracking. I saw your weight logs and stuff like that. You're tracking your weights. You didn't even send me a couple videos here and there as well. So that was good. Exercise technique. And the thing is, like exercise technique, something that you'll find you'll refine throughout your entire life, right?
Yep.
So it's, you know, it just depends on, you know, how often you vary those exercises and switch them up, but something that you'll continually work on and, you know, you'll always be finding new cues for different exercises. So yeah, it was really cool to see your progress, man. Especially those legs. I was like, I remember seeing the pictures a couple weeks in. I was like, damn, his legs are blowing up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I think yeah, the results you have now, I think like what did we end up with weight wise? Like you got into the 150s, if I remember from because I think your actual weight when we started was about 143 or something, but you ended up at like I think it was almost a 10-pound increase, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it was like looking at the pictures, there's no barely any body fat. I couldn't tell it there's any difference in leanness. So that is a huge W. Um, so now that you're, I know we've kind of, you know, touched on it, but you know, now that you're now done the program, like internally, how are you feeling with all your results? What do you feel like that kind of you know, all those results that, you know, increased strength and all that stuff kind of leads you with?
And just in general life, I feel more confident. I feel like, even if I left you in your programming, I'd still know a lot more than I did coming into it. You gave me a bunch of knowledge that I'll be able to use for the rest of my life. Um, yeah, confidence. I definitely wasn't disappointed with any of the results I got. Yeah.
Sick, man. And yeah, I know the school grades thing was huge, but you also mentioned, I think before energy in your class, you didn't feel like you were zoning out or passing out during class. Is
hmm
that right?
Trying to do my work. I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and then I try and go to school. I mean, most people probably get up early that for work, and
Yeah,
not feeling like you're gonna fall asleep while trying to listen to a teacher, listen to your boss, listen to anything, or just do your work online.
yeah,
Um, Makes a huge difference just in general life. I mean, eating better, and it it trickles down. It's a whole ladder of effects, but yeah, sleeping better, feeling better just in general, not getting sick as much. It makes everything better, relationships, work, everything.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, man. And honestly, it's crazy to think that, like, sometimes I have to remind myself, yet you're only 16. If, like, the amount of progress you're going to make, having everything dialed in is going to be insane. Like, I know you mentioned you want to step on stage in the future, like maybe in the next year and a half to 2 years.
Yep,
And honestly, going at the current rate, like I would not be surprised if you keep going and if you do make bodybuilding your thing, being like, one of the top naturals around. So I'm pumped to see your progress, man.
for
Um,
sure.
so real talk, what would you honestly tell someone who's thinking about working with me, join my program?
It's well worth the money. I've honestly, when I first looked at the pricing and stuff, I thought it was a month for 1,000, and when I saw 3 months, I mean that's a quarter of a year, and
Yeah.
you can ask any questions you want. He responds practically immediately. The questions are detailed. He knows what he's talking about. Even if you don't continue after that, you have knowledge that'll put you above anything you could really learn on YouTube instantly. And it makes such a big difference. You're gonna have that for the rest of your life. Um, yeah, the progress in 3 months is drastic. It's genuinely life changing. Genuinely, it
Dude,
makes
that's
huge difference.
dude, sick. I appreciate that, man. Um, anything else you want to add?
Um, not really that I can think of. It's worth it. It's purely worth it, and he feels like a real human. It's not like you're talking to a robot behind the screen. He's a real genuine guy with a life. It's not some AI. Like it feels real. It's an actual experience. It's better than anything you could really ask for in a coach, especially
Oh,
that
dude.
you'll never see him in person. But I mean, it feels like he's in front of you most of the time because of how responsive he is. He's a real person.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah, no AI here. I actually had someone ask me one of my if one of my client transformations that I posted a couple weeks back was AI. They're like, it's just AI. And I was like, nope. It
Nope.
was but yeah, that first one was from before AI existed, so nope.
It's
But
real then.
yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I hold on. Just going to stop this recording. Sick. Thanks, man. No, I appreciate your time and hopping on a call. Um, yeah, it's been great working with you. Hopefully we can work together in the future, but I know you're just crushing it, man. Like that's the whole point is like I want my clients, developing that knowledge, right? So they can move
Yep.
forward without and, get to that point where they self-coach, or at least like, have a lot of the skills they need to keep progressing. Because you know exactly what it is now that moves the needle, right? Um,
hmm
and like, okay, at least how to program for yourself, how to progress your macros. I mean, we had you eating a ton of food too, which is crazy that you stayed lean. But that's,
Yeah.
when you do things slowly, it's and be patient with the process, which is what you were. It's awesome.
It's
But
hard, but yeah, it pays off for sure.
yeah, the patience is honestly like the hardest thing, right? Because
Yeah.
when I was young, it was like trying to just push the envelope and push, past failure, always feel like you're burnt out and always feel like you're under recovering. But that's the most important part is actually staying patient with the process. But no, I
Yeah.
appreciate you putting your trust in me, man, and working with me. And yeah, I'm pumped to see how you're going to keep progressing.
Yes, sir. I am too. I'm definitely looking forward to, what's next in our journey together, whatever cut going into first bodybuilding show. I know
It'll
it's
be
just
sick.
time, but I'm so excited
Yeah,
for it.
right?